Si alguien nos hubiera contado en los primeros años de nuestra plantación lo que nuestros ojos ven ahora, jamás lo hubiéramos imaginado, ni aún en nuestros mejores sueños.
Tanta presencia de Dios, tanta adoración, tanta sanidad, tantos mocos y lágrimas derramadas, tanto sacrificio, tanta gracia.
Tantos break y tantas locuras, tantos buenos amigos, tanta libertad, tantas historias, tanto amor. Hemos llorado y hemos aprendido. Y hay tanto por qué vivir aún. ¿Cómo no darte las gracias, Señor?
Porque creemos y soñamos con las promesas dichas sobre nosotros. Él es, ha sido y seguirá siendo fiel. Por lo tanto, seguiremos dando todo y arriesgando nuestras vidas por la causa. ¿Y dónde nos llevará Dios ahora?
Y sobre mí has puesto tu sello de aprobación.
Hola y bienvenidos a esta segunda noche de la Conferencia Agape. Estamos cumpliendo 20 años de vida con Dios y estamos muy emocionados. Estamos contentos que se hayan conectado y vamos de inmediato con la emoción de este tiempo con Dios a lo que llamamos nuestro álbum familiar.
Lo que vamos a ver esta noche, bueno, voy a partir con el final, cuando ya venga nuestro super orador de esta noche, el tiempo de adoración al final. Vas a ver un video donde ese tiempo los jóvenes empezaron a hacer locuras. Este es un video donde aparece Mikey Roy y también Rodrigo, que lo están preparando para un campamento del año 2010. Y te lo queremos mostrar porque revela un poco el condimento sabroso que tiene la Viña Agape de hacer cosas que no tienen que ver con lo religioso, ¿no es cierto? Y con lo políticamente evangélico, ¿ya? Y esta cosa rica que Dios nos ha dado, de lo cual lloramos harto, pero también lo pasamos bien y disfrutamos el uno del otro. Y el video que vas a ver inmediatamente nos da un poquito de vergüenza mostrarlo, pero nuestros amigos y bueno, el equipo nos animó a hacerlo porque es un video que se trata de la historia de Jamie y fue un regalo que yo le hice hace 12 años atrás, donde era una forma que hice para honrarlo, para animarlo por el tiempo difícil que fue todo esto. Entonces vas a ver toda la historia, está centrada en él porque fue un regalo para él, ya no fue algo para mostrarlo, sino fue algo íntimo, ¿no es cierto? Y que queremos compartirlo contigo porque está toda la historia, desde cuando Jamie nace hasta cuando llega y plantamos la Viña Agape. Queremos compartirlo contigo con mucho cariño y queremos que tú seas parte de esta historia.
Hay gente muy valiosa, importante para nosotros, que eran parte de todo el proceso de plantación desde el principio, que salen también en el video, para que también ellos sean honrados por su entrega todos estos años. Así que, bueno, después de eso, viene alguien que los quiere saludar, alguien muy especial para nosotros, una de nuestras plantaciones, una hija de la Viña Agape.
Y también una muy amiga, querida amiga nuestra.
Sí. Y queremos que pueda saludar y también ella va a estar presentando quién nos va a estar guiando en la adoración después.
Y también un saludo, pero podemos decir, ¿o no? ¿Quién es?
Sí, bueno.
Ya. Un saludo a la Viña Reencuentro, nuestra amada y querida iglesia con su súper espectacular pastora.
Así que vamos y nos vemos.
Soñé que fui al cielo y tú estabas allí. Caminamos las calles de oro, vimos el mar de cristal. Los ángeles cantaban, alguien te llamó. Miré y vi a un joven que sonriendo a ti te habló. Amigo, no me conoces, pero yo te conozco a ti. La escuela dominical, a la edad de 10, acostumbrabas a orar antes de la lección. Y un día tú hacer la oración, Jesús vino a mi corazón. Gracias por darle al Señor. Soy una vida que cambió. Gracias por darle al Señor. Por eso estoy aquí. Otro hombre te habló, te dijo, ¿te acuerdas de aquella vez? Un misionero llegó a tu iglesia y te hizo llorar. No tenías mucho dinero, pero lo diste todo igual. Jesús tomó esa ofrenda, por eso hoy estoy aquí. Gracias por darle al Señor. Soy una vida que cambió. Gracias por darle al Señor. Por eso estoy aquí. Llegaron miles, no se podían contar. Cada uno fue tocado por tu generosidad. Cosas pequeñas que hiciste, los sacrificios también. Aunque no visto en la tierra, en el cielo se proclamó. Y sé que allá en el cielo no se puede llorar, pero no podías tus lágrimas contener. Cuando Jesús tomó tu mano y mirándote te habló, hijo mío, mira a tu alrededor. Grande es tu galardón. Gracias por darle al Señor. Soy una vida que cambió. Gracias por darle al Señor. Por eso estoy aquí. Gracias por darle al Señor. Soy una vida que cambió. Gracias por darle al Señor. Por eso estoy aquí. Por eso estoy aquí.
Iglesia de Niños.
Amiguitos, los quiero invitar a nuestra transmisión especial para niños. Tendremos muchas sorpresas. Nos vemos el sábado 4 de julio a las 11 de la mañana. ¡Nos vemos!
Hola familia, un gran saludo para todos y para todos los que no me conocen me presento. Yo soy Ivonne Barahona, pastora de la Iglesia Viña Reencuentro de la comuna de Cerrillo. Nosotros salimos a plantar hace 7 años con mi esposo Samuel Rus y mis 2 hijos Carolina y Sami. Contarles en breve, el primer año de plantación mi esposo se le declaró una enfermedad neurológica llamada ELA y en el año 2015 falleció. Hemos continuado trabajando con mis hijos y un equipo de personas inspirados en el amor de Dios. Y hasta aquí Dios nos ha traído. Aquí contarles también que en este momento estamos trabajando por medio de las redes sociales con grupos de conexión, adultos y jóvenes, entregando también mensajes pastorales y devocionales durante la semana con nuestra reunión vía online los domingos. Hoy es un día especial donde cumple 20 años nuestra iglesia madre Viña Agape y nuestra iglesia Viña Reencuentro. Les queremos manifestar nuestro cariño, honrando a la iglesia Viña Agape y especialmente a los pastores Jamie y Silvia, grandes referentes del amor que no se da por vencido. Y ahora tengo el gran privilegio y honor de presentar a un gran líder de adoración y músico de la Viña, quien fue pastor de la Viña de California en sus inicios con John Wimber, además de pastorear iglesias de la Viña. Autor de libros y de muchísimas canciones de adoración, con las cuales ha bendecido a muchos países alrededor del mundo. Les presento a Andy Park.
Hola mis amigos, es un placer estar con todos ustedes hoy. Recuerdo con cariño las veces que visité su iglesia en Chile. Oramos juntos, ¿ok? Dios, gracias por reunirnos así. Gracias por el amor que nos ha derramado. Te damos las gracias por el amor que tenemos entre nosotros. Le agradecemos que nos esté protegiendo en este tiempo. Espíritu Santo, le damos la bienvenida aquí. Te abrimos el corazón, Señor. Queremos escuchar tu voz y responderte. Amén.
Abre mis ojos, oh Cristo. Abre mis ojos, Señor. Yo quiero verte. Yo quiero verte. Abre mis ojos, oh Cristo. Abre mis ojos, Señor. Yo quiero verte. Yo quiero verte y contemplar tu majestad y el resplendor de tu gloria. Derrama tu amor y poder cuando cantamos Santo, Santo. Abre mis ojos, oh Cristo. Abre mis ojos, Señor. Yo quiero verte. Yo quiero verte. Oh, abre mis ojos, oh Cristo. Abre mis ojos, Señor. Yo quiero verte. Yo quiero verte. Y contemplar tu majestad y el resplendor de tu gloria. Derrama tu amor y poder cuando cantamos Santo, Santo. queremos verte. Cantamos santo, 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 queremos verte, sí queremos verte. Amado Padre, tú estás aquí, nuestros temores los traemos a ti, nuestros problemas, aunque grandes son, tú eres fuerte y tú eres fiel, maravilloso Dios, abre los cielos. Haces una senda donde no hay, maravilloso Dios, mueves montañas y harás una senda en este lugar, maravilloso Dios, maravilloso Dios, confiamos en ti. Tú eres el Rey, lo imposible tú puedes hacer. Las puertas tú abres con tu gran poder. Milagros ocurren porque eres Señor. Maravilloso Dios, abre los cielos, haces una senda donde no hay. Maravilloso Dios, mueves montañas y harás una senda en este lugar. Maravilloso Dios. Todo lo puedes, Rey de Reyes y Señor, todo lo puedes, Rey de Reyes, ven aquí, todo lo puedes, Rey de Reyes y Señor, todo lo puedes, Rey de Reyes, ven aquí, maravilloso Dios, abre los cielos, haces una senda donde no hay, maravilloso Dios, mueves montañas y harás una senda en este lugar, maravilloso Dios, abre los cielos, haces una senda donde no hay, maravilloso Dios, mueves montañas y harás una senda en este lugar, maravilloso Dios, confiamos en ti, Señor. Eres la fuente de mi ser, tú eres la luz, me das sentido,
amor alcanza las estrellas y a lo profundo. Tu amor también llegó hasta mí y me hace cantar. Tu amor me alcanzó y nada más anhelo yo. Tu amor me alcanzó y nada más anhelo yo. Tú eres la fuente de mi ser. Tú eres la luz, me das sentido. Tu amor alcanza las estrellas y a lo profundo. Tu amor también llegó hasta mí y me hace cantar. Tu amor me alcanzó y nada más anhelo yo. Tu amor me alcanzó y nada más anhelo yo. Tu amor me alcanzó y nada más anhelo yo. Tu amor me alcanzó, nada más anhelo yo. Oh Dios, cuán grande es tu infinito amor, profundo y alto, en ti encontré refugio. Oh Dios, cuán grande es tu infinito amor, profundo y alto, en ti encontré refugio. Oh, 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 oh. Tu amor me alcanzó y nada más anhelo yo. Tu amor me alcanzó y nada más anhelo yo. Aguas no apagarán tu amor, ríos no pueden cubrirlo, mares de miedo no ahogarán tu amor por mí. Aguas no apagarán tu amor, ríos no pueden cubrirlo, mares de miedo no ahogarán tu amor por mí. Tu amor por mí, santo amor, fluye en mí. Al ancho mar, como tempestad, tinieblas. No temeré, tu amor por mí me confortará. Penas no apagarán tu amor, ni lo abruman las tinieblas. No temeré, tu amor por mí me confortará. Me confortará. Santo amor fluye en mí, lléname con tu amor por mí, como tempestad cae sobre mí. Santo amor fluye en mí. Al hallarte encuentro amor, al hallarte encuentro paz. Y yo sé que no hay un gran caudal, montaña más alta o mares que no pueda separar. Santo amor fluye en mí, lléname como al ancho mar, como tempestad cae sobre mí. Santo amor fluye en mí, fluye en mí. Santo amor fluye en mí. Un sabor de los cielos, una visión de los cielos. Queremos, queremos contemplar tu belleza, tu asombrosa riqueza. Queremos tu presencia como miel cayendo sobre tu pueblo. Tu presencia como miel cayendo sobre tu pueblo, sobre tu pueblo. Cae sobre tu pueblo, Señor. Un sabor de tu gracia inmerecido establecida y perfecta. Queremos bajo de tu sonrisa, con tu amor afectuosa, moramos, moramos. Es tu gloria como el sol brillando sobre tu pueblo, tu gloria como el sol brillando sobre tu pueblo, sobre tu pueblo. Oh, brilla, Señor, brilla, Señor, brilla sobre tu pueblo, brilla, Señor. Es tu gloria y poder sanando a tu pueblo, tu gloria y poder sanando a tu pueblo, a tu pueblo. Queremos tu presencia. Queremos tu presencia. Brilla como el sol, Señor. Brilla como el sol, Señor. Brilla como el sol, Señor, sobre tu pueblo. Un sabor de los cielos, una visión de los cielos. Queremos contemplar tu belleza, tu asombrosa riqueza. Queremos, oh, queremos tu presencia como miel cayendo sobre tu pueblo, tu presencia como miel cayendo sobre tu pueblo, sobre tu pueblo. Queremos tu presencia.
Gracias por este tiempo, Andy. Qué rico es poder adorar y sentir la presencia. Qué rico es recibir de Dios su espíritu y todo lo que Él llena. Pero también dice que es de más bendición dar que recibir. Por eso, Iglesia, hoy te animo a que seamos parte de esto, a que le creamos a Dios, a que podamos ofrendar hoy y entregar a Dios lo que Él nos da, porque sabemos que su provisión es inagotable. Los datos de la cuenta la puedes ver en la página web, y si ya la tienes, te animo nuevamente a que seamos parte del reino. sé bendecido. Y ahora viene una pareja muy especial que va a presentar al siguiente orador. Gracias, Viña Agape. Un abrazo.
Buenas tardes, amigos, familia de la Viña Agape. Estamos muy contentos de esta conferencia. Empezó ayer con todo el power, con el Espíritu Santo visitándonos en esta tremenda adoración. Una palabra que llegó hasta lo más profundo de nuestro amigo Alexander Fenter. Y este álbum de fotos de tantos recuerdos que hemos llorado, hemos reído y entendemos que vamos por más.
Eso es. Queremos presentarles ahora a Ken Fitch, nuestro orador de esta tarde. Él es de los Estados Unidos, nació en el año 1960, es padre de 3 hijas, su esposa es Beth. Y él ha estudiado a lo largo de su vida ministerial muchas áreas de estudios que configuran su currículum. En primer lugar, debería decirles que él estudió Historia y Filosofía de la Religión en la Universidad de Princeton. También él hizo una maestría en Divinidad en el Seminario Fuller. Y finalmente tiene un MBA en Finanzas y Estrategias. Así que eso es.
En la década de los 80 trabajó a tiempo completo con John Weinberg. Y esto lo dota de una experiencia tremenda, ¿no? Y él trabajó para la Viña Internacional. Su trabajo incluía investigación, materiales de conferencia y sermones que dieron un sello particular al movimiento de la Viña en la década de los 80 y de los 90. Ken ha perfeccionado sus materiales durante años. Tiene un estilo de enseñanza que enfatiza tanto la información como la impartición. Ha viajado extensamente como conferencista, enseñando sobre una amplia gama de temas que van desde liderazgo y formación espiritual, crecimiento y avivamiento de la Iglesia, autoridad y exposición bíblica, hasta profecía, sanación y liberación. Lo dejamos entonces con Ken Fitch.
Hello, my friends. It's Ken Fish coming to you from Los Angeles, California. It's good to be with you. I wish I were there in person, but I'm not, and we all know why. It's COVID time. Additionally, of course, even if I were there, I think you in Chile are not able to gather yourselves together because you are all in various stages of lockdown. And so my coming wouldn't really fix any of that. So the good news is we have modern technology and we can be together in this way. The bad news is it's not as good as being together in person. I trust that the day will come when we will all be together once again for meetings. Jamie asked me to speak to you for your event, and he wanted me to talk about the topic of love never gives up. And so I have 2 messages for you, and this is the first of those 2. And to start this message out, I just want to read to you briefly from my English Bible. And of course, everything is being translated into Spanish. Song of Songs is not a book that we often preach from in our modern churches, but the Song of Songs, or sometimes called the Song of Solomon, or the Canticle. This book, chapter 8, verse 7, says this: "Many waters cannot quench love, neither can floods drown it. If a man offered for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised." It's one single verse, but I want to use that to frame our conversation today. And then when I do the second message, we'll go more deeply into these matters. So I have prepared some notes, and you'll see me glance away from the camera momentarily as I look at the notes, just to make sure I stay on track and on time, because I have a time limit I have to hit. Just putting my Bible down too. So if you see me look away, that's all that I'm doing. Here are the notes, of course, but anyway, so here we go. So about 3,000 years ago was when King Solomon wrote the verses that I just read to you from the Song of Songs, and he was writing about the enduring nature of love. And again, our topic is love never gives up. So love, if it never gives up, it has an enduring quality to it. It has a long-term effect to it. It has a stick-to-itiveness to it. And he wrote a love song that has been spiritualized at different times in church history to mean that the love that he speaks of is really between Jesus and the church. And while I don't doubt that, because the scripture does say that the very institution of marriage between a man and a woman, and we need to be very clear, we do mean in marriage between a man and a woman, a biologically natural man and a biologically natural woman, or what is now called cisgendered, that marriage ceremony is itself a representation of the love and the commitment that exists between Jesus and his bride, the church. But to take the canticle or the Song of Songs as purely a spiritualizing metaphor or allegory of Jesus and the church would really be to sell it short. Because that book, the entire book of Song of Songs, all 8 chapters of it, is first and foremost about romantic physical love. I mean, the what goes on when a man and woman are together in marriage, not outside of marriage, in marriage. And I emphasize this because I know that all human beings struggle in this area, and I know some of the unique challenges you have in your own Chilean context and society. And so although I'm extolling physical love between a man and a woman, the only place that is allowed, at least for Christians and observant Jews, is within the bonds of marriage. So if you are somehow involved in a illicit relationship right now where you're having sexual relations with somebody who is not your married partner, then you should cut that out. You should discontinue that immediately. And plan to be married, because the scripture also says from the hand of the Apostle Paul that if a man is acting inappropriately towards he calls her the virgin, although if you've gone too far, she may not be a virgin anymore. But anyway, the woman that he is dating or betrothed to, then he should marry, because it is better to marry than to burn with lust or burn with passion. Well, that's off topic, but I just feel an admonition in that I just needed to say, in part because I know the things I've run into in my various trips to Chile and working with your people and your nation. You're no different from others, of course, but we just have to highlight that this is the way we please God with our bodies and with our sexuality. All right, well, let's keep going. So this Song of Songs, it could have been a ballad, some sort of something used to woo a maiden or a lover, or it may have been a wedding song. A lot of scholars think it was a wedding song, but either way, Solomon summarized his song with that verse, which comes very near the end of the book, and he says, "Many waters cannot quench love, and neither can floods drown it. If a man offered for love all the wealth of his house, everything he had, everything he stored up through the years, it would be utterly despised." That's what it said in Song of Songs 8:7. Well, Solomon writes of a love that can't be drowned. It can't be put out. And even many deep and rushing waters can't overpower it. Hardship can't end it. Adversity can't end it. Sickness can't end it. Love never gives up. I think it's important for us to be thinking about that, because Jesus said in the Sermon on the, not on the Sermon on the Mount, the Sermon on the Mount of Olives, shortly before his crucifixion, he said that in the last times the love of many would grow cold. And so, in fact, he contemplates that for some, their love would actually be overcome by the waters, by the difficulties, the hardships of the time. Anyway, Solomon is writing of a higher love, a love that doesn't actually lend itself to being snuffed out. And he says that love cannot be purchased. It isn't for sale, and it also can't be compelled. It's something that is freely given. And finally, this love seeks reciprocity. It is restless until it finds its complement in the other. And for us as believers, we're thinking primarily of finding its fulfillment in the Lord himself. But in a married context, there is a desire for two people to come together and to find fulfillment and satisfaction in the merging, the blending of their two bodies together. God made it that way. Often we've made sex something that is well, shameful, or we kind of laugh about it. But in fact, God views it as good and beautiful when a man and a woman come together. In the book of Malachi, it says that God actually has a portion. He partakes in the union of a man and a woman in order that there would be godly offspring raised unto him. So again, I don't want to drift off of the main theme of my message, but I just feel it's so important for us to highlight the good of marriage and why men and women should be married, particularly in a time where all over the world people are abandoning marriage and simply settling for cohabitation, or if not that, just periodic hookups. I never thought the day would come, but it actually has arrived, where our marriages are a living testimony to the durability of love and to the nature of Jesus and the church. I never thought marriage would itself be a living witness of faith, but it is. All right, so as I said, this love, this third point, it seeks reciprocity, and it's restless until it finds its complement in the other person. Song of Songs 1:2, so we are looking at the very end of the book, but now I'm pointing right back to the very beginning of the book, and it starts out with, "Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine." So in this case, the beloved is saying, I want my lover, I want my other to come to me and shower me with love, to bestow upon me all of the goodness that he carries. Song of Songs 3:4 says, "Scarcely had I passed them," meaning the women of Jerusalem, because at this point the beloved is still a single woman seeking her beloved. "Scarcely had I passed them when I found him whom my soul loves. I held him and I would not let him go." Now, since we're talking about love that doesn't give up, let me just ask you, do you cling to Jesus with a love that will not let go? Or has it become the case that in the midst of COVID, in the midst of challenges to what marriage means, in the midst of upheaval in our world, in the midst of racial unrest, in the midst of economic calamity, has your desire to cling to him, has it somehow grown fainter or weaker? We don't want to be among those who shrink and draw back. And so Solomon was saying in these 3 points that love can't be drowned, that it cannot be purchased, and that it seeks reciprocity in the other, in the greater one, in Jesus himself in our case. Solomon was saying in modern terms that love can't be stopped, it can't be drowned, it can't be quenched, it can't be purchased, it's unbreakable, it's incorruptible, it never gives up, it never dries up, it never stops. This is the nature of a true and godly type of love. Now, of course, before Solomon and in the centuries since, others have extolled the virtues of love. In 1 John 4:8, the Bible itself says that God is love, 1 John 4:8. And in fact, when you think about the world and its fallenness, you think about the challenges, you think about, well, the brutality and the violence and the hypocrisy and the betrayal. You think about all that entails, and we could throw some other things on the list also. It is actually the existence of love in a world with all of that fallenness and brokenness that points to the existence of God himself. And so to put it simply, there is no reason for love to exist anywhere in the universe. I mean, we could reproduce through animal passion, the animals do, without necessarily feeling love as we understand it. But there's no reason for love to exist. We could simply have it be biology, and yet God has ordained it that there is love in the universe, and I think it is because he himself designed the universe to reflect that he is himself love. We already said God is love. So the nature of love in the universe is some sort of a divine indicator or a pointer to the nature of God, that he is a loving God, and that the very essence of who he is arises from love. And so with this, we can say that we know God is real. For those who perhaps doubt the existence of God, or are going through a dry spell, or having some sort of challenges. You're in that time where you're like, I used to believe, I don't know if I believe as I once did. We know God is real because we can experience love. Now, I'm not saying you are experiencing love. You may not have somebody in your life right now who shows you that love, but maybe the love you experience has been in the past, or maybe it's coming in a different way through the body of Christ. Still, you are encountering love. And the scripture says, 1 John 4:7, the very verse that precedes the one I just cited, it says that all love is from God. And so all love comes from God. Therefore, the love we experience in the universe, however we experience it, is itself coming from God. And so, as it were, God created love in the universe to point to himself so that we would understand that life is itself not a meaningless existence. And so the fact that there is love in the universe points to God, and therefore love is the best apologetic that we have for the existence of God. And when I use the word apologetic, what I'm really using is a term that theologians use to refer to an argument for the existence of God. And furthermore, because God has no beginning, because God has no end, love similarly has the capacity to have no beginning and no end. I'm aware that sometimes love comes to an end, but nearly always when that happens, it's because there's been some violation of the tenets and principles of true and selfless relationship. But if we follow in the way of love, then love does not come to an end. This is why we give wedding rings at weddings. They are circular. They have no beginning. They have no end. And so with this, again, we can make the point. We can use the title of these messages that are the theme of your retreat. Love never gives up. It doesn't have a beginning. It doesn't have an end. It simply goes on, even when times are difficult. Now, when we talk about love, we're going to unpack this a bit. The ancient Greeks actually knew of 4 kinds of love. 4 kinds of love. And these generally arise in people's lives in the order that I am about to present them. The first kind of love is what is called storge. That's not translatable into Spanish or any other language. It's a Greek word. But storge means the natural affection that exists, for example, between parents and their children. We might call it familial love, but it's instinctual. It's something that people naturally feel. Now, if you come from an abusive family, you know better than I could even tell you that it is possible to damage or even to break storge love. But storge love is a reality, and this is why you will often hear young parents, whether mothers or fathers, say, the moment I laid eyes on my baby, I loved my baby. This is why when mom or dad come into the room and see the baby in the crib, the baby will smile and start to coo, because the baby loves mom and dad. And that's what we're talking about with storge. It's an instinctual thing. The second kind of love that the Greeks spoke of is philia or philia, and it refers to love between friends. We might even call it a platonic love. It's built on shared interests. It's built on time spent together. It's built on mutuality and commonality. The third kind of love is eros. We get the word erotic from the word eros. And again, neither philia nor eros is translatable well into Spanish. These words just are what they are. But this third category is romantic desire. It's physical love. And it's based on a mutual desire to be with the other person in a special and unique way, to know them beyond the level of philia, to know them beyond the level of shared interests. It is the merging of 2 bodies and 2 lives together. And of course, I said these things emerge in roughly this order. So storge is the first to emerge, even in childhood. Philia, we build friendships while we're in our youth. Once we reach physical maturity, puberty, then we begin to desire erotic love or physical love. And so this is how these 3 stages unpack. But there is a 4th kind of love. It's the highest love. You may have heard this word before. The word is agape, and agape love means the unconditional kind of love that gives selflessly. It is the God kind of love. And as Christians, we recognize that this fourth kind of love, agape, is the most noble of the four because it is a selfless giving love. Now, storge can have aspects of that, and so can philia, and so can eros. In each of those other three loves, we can at times give to the other person. But when we move to agape love, we are actually giving because we see in the other person the image of God. We give to that person not because we expect anything in return. With storge, with philia, with eros, we do expect something to come back to us. Again, it may be in the form of mutual affection, it may be shared interests, it may be a friendship that persists through the years, it may be in a relationship where we find mutual pleasure sexually, or at least a commitment that endures for a lifetime. But in agape, we are giving to the other for one single reason. We see the image of God in that person, and we want to give to them because they reflect God. And when we honor them, we actually honor God. Now, a few moments ago, I was quoting to you from the first letter of John, chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, although we did them in the reverse order, 8 and 7. In that same passage, John actually says that nobody can actually say they love God if they don't love their brother, on whom they have laid their eyes, whom they have seen in the flesh. And so in order to come into this place of agape, we have to show that kind of love first to those who are our brothers and sisters around us. And out of that grows a greater kind of love towards God himself. And so as Christians, we recognize this fourth kind of love, this agape love. As I said, it's the highest, it's the most noble of the four, and yet it is also somehow the most difficult to attain to. It's the hardest to put into practice in our own lives. And yet any of these four loves that we've named, storge, philia, eros, or agape, any of the four of them can have a beauty and a power of its own, for each one reflects a different dimension of God's personality. And although most of us have known tainted love or corrupted love, love that came short, love that fell apart, the Bible actually holds out the promise of an unbreakable love. It holds out the promise of a love that does not give up, a love that endures and goes the full distance. This is a love that can't be broken. It is a love that cannot be purchased. It is a love that is freely given. And generally, it finds its expression in an exchange between two people, sometimes between several people. But to be clear, if we're talking about the erotic kind of love, that's not intended for between several people. It's intended only for a man and a woman. But storge, this could exist in a family system where brother loves brother, or sister loves sister, or brother loves sister, or mom loves son, or dad loves daughter, or grandpa or grandma, or aunt or uncle or cousin. All of these things could happen in a family system. When we talk about philia, sometimes we have more than one friend. Sometimes we form associations with other people with whom we have common interests. It might be something as simple as a fishing club or a basketball club, something like that. But we have a friendship kind of affection that's going on. So the Bible talks about a kind of love that is mutual. And then the Bible also says that this kind of love, this mutual love, in whichever dimension it occurs, you actually can't buy it. It's not available for money. Money is simply a representation of past work done well enough in which excess was created, and we warehouse or storehouse that excess for our own benefit down the road, maybe for the benefit of our heirs. But the fact that something once happened doesn't mean that you can negotiate with currency or monetary value what once was for what is. Love has a now component to it. And so every year in my country, to illustrate this point, we have at least one story that shows up in our popular media. It's not political news, it's not economic news, it's not world affairs. It's one of those stories that kind of pulls at your heartstrings, and typically it will involve a family dog. And the family went on vacation. They got in the car and they drove somewhere, and somehow that dog got left behind. Sometimes these families, well, they are lacking in storge and philea love. And with that, maybe they deliberately left the dog behind. They actually wanted to abandon the dog, but to Solomon's point, many waters cannot quench love, and even a rushing river cannot overcome it. And so even still, that dog, not knowing that it's been abandoned and forsaken, it continues to love its family, and it seeks to be reunited to the family. Other times, the family may have gone somewhere and they drove away, not realizing that the dog hadn't been put in the car with them. Maybe, the dad thought daughter had packed it. The daughter thought, well, her brother had packed it. And the brother thought mom had packed it. And it's only when they're 2 or 3 hours down the road they realize we left the dog behind. But time is pressing and we want to get to our destination, so they don't actually go back to look for the dog, because after all, the dog might have run off, or we have to get to our objective. We just can't be bothered any longer. But in all of these stories, however they arise, what we see is one common theme. Against all odds, that dog, the dog that was left behind, whether deliberately or accidentally, that dog finds its way home to its owners. This dog was filled with storge, the kind of natural affection that occurs between family members. In this case, the dog is, as it were, one of the family. Or the dog may be filled with philea. We call dogs man's best friend. That dog views the family members as its friends. It has an affection for those people. And sometimes in these stories, these very same animals will lay down their lives for their owners, maybe waking them to rescue them from a burning home, or dragging them from water in which they were drowning. And maybe this is part of why people sometimes have such a deep love for their dogs. I don't think we can properly say that the love goes all the way to agape, and it would certainly be inappropriate to have eros love with an animal. The Bible calls this bestiality and forbids it. But these other two dimensions, storge and philea, that exist between humans and their pets, this is a real thing. It's a dynamic that we all know, and I'm sure that in Chile it is the same as it is here in the United States. And so people have a love for their dogs because their dogs have a deep love for them. This is a love that cannot be quenched. This is a love that cannot be purchased. This is a love that never gives up. And so sometimes in these stories, these dogs that have been left behind against all odds, and God only knows how they find their way home, they do. And maybe weeks later, sometimes months later, that same dog shows up on the family doorstep and is there scratching at the door and wagging its tail, so happy to have found its way to its owners. Who knows what that dog endured? Cold nights, hot days, hunger, thirst, danger from cars, dog catchers. We don't even know what that dog has gone through. It can't even articulate what it experienced, but that love never gave up. The dog wanted to find its way back to its master. And so with that kind of an illustration, we are reminded of these points that Solomon made. Love cannot be drowned, even in deep and rushing waters. Love cannot be purchased, and love seeks reciprocity. These dogs that I'm describing exactly embody this. Their love, despite being left behind, sometimes even on purpose, it can't be snuffed out. And you can't buy a love like that. You can't find a loyalty like that. And beyond that, that love is seeking reciprocity. It's restless until it finds its complement in the family that it once knew and wants to return to. This is the nature of a love that does not give up. Now, I said in the beginning, we are living in difficult times. Every one of us on this broadcast, whether me here in Los Angeles or you there in Chile, we are all facing challenges we never thought we would see. We are confined to our homes. Our health may be at risk. Our jobs may be at risk. Some of us don't know where our next paycheck is going to come from. Many of us are at odds with the people we're living with because we're not used to being cooped up or cramped in an apartment or a home, a house, in a small space like that. We can't get out and exercise. We have nowhere to offload all of that nervous energy. We never thought we would see times in which a pandemic would overtake our world. We've not seen anything like this at least in 100 years since the Spanish flu. And depending on how bad this gets, it may be in like 600 or more years since the last Black Plague outbreak that took half of Europe. So for many of us, we are in uncharted waters, and although we may have read the history, it's never struck us, it's never come home to us as these things are coming to us now. But I want to encourage you in these times of challenge, in these times of difficulty, to get your love on. I want to encourage you to find your way back to the kind of love that we've described, these 4 layers of love, and actually to ask God to help you love with agape love, that kind of selfless love, that giving love that will serve others even if you don't get anything in return. Solomon wrote of a love that cannot be broken and quenched. It cannot be bought, and it never gives up, no matter how long or hard the season of trial may persist. Now, I don't know how long this season of trial will persist, but I will say this. Jesus did say that in the last times it would be perilous, and he said the love of many would grow cold. He also said that they would be times of challenge unlike anything the world had ever seen. Well, in many ways, this looks like that, although we tend to have a very narrow and limited perspective in our own worlds. And we have that because we are finite. In our lifetimes, we've not seen anything like this. We can read the stories of what happened before us. Maybe if it happened close enough to our time, there may be people around us who were alive in those times who can recount the stories to us, but we haven't actually traversed these times. But guess what? Jesus said that because of that hardship, the love of many would grow cold. I want to challenge you. If you're having hardship and your love is flagging, your love is not yet made complete, you need to rise up and shake that off. You want to have a love that will not give up. You want to have a love that will stay the course. Because, in the short run, you can compel people, you can force people to do things that they might not have otherwise wanted to do. You can exhort them that they should do this or do that, maybe for the greater good, for the country, for the city, for the patrimony. I mean, people use all kinds of language for it, but all of these things in one way or other are persuasive. Sometimes they are coercive, but with love, it comes out of a heart that is willing. It is something that is freely given. It is the kind of love that God himself had when he said, God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son. And I want to encourage you, in the midst of challenge, in the midst of trial, to turn your focus outward, not inward. I want to challenge you to become people who love others excellently. I want to challenge you to become people who love deeply. I want to encourage you to seek the Holy Spirit. Romans 5:5 says that the love of God is shed abroad. It is poured out into our hearts through the person of the Holy Spirit who is given to us. I want to encourage you to ask God for a rekindling of the passion and flames of love for your friends and neighbors, so that that love can become what you live on and give away, whether the crisis we are in should last only a few more months or maybe a few more years. And with that, you will keep your eyes on the prize, and thus your love will never give up. God bless you guys. I'll look forward to seeing you at our next session.
En la calma de mi ser, en la paz
escucho tu voz. Llenas mi corazón, no puedo describirte con palabras. Cristo, eres más que un amigo. Cristo, eres más de lo que yo puedo expresar. Tu gracia y amor nunca fallan. Tu misericordia me sana. Traes gozo a mi ser, gozo a mi ser. Anhelo adorarte, oh mi Rey. Anhelo traerte ofrendas de amor. Llenas mi corazón, no puedo describirte con palabras. Cristo, eres más que un amigo. Cristo, eres más de lo que yo puedo expresar. Tu gracia y amor nunca fallan. Tu misericordia me sana. Traes gozo a mi ser, gozo a mi ser. Traes gozo a mi ser, gozo a mi ser. Cristo, eres más que un amigo. Cristo, eres más de lo que yo puedo expresar. Tu gracia y amor nunca fallan. Tu misericordia me sana. Traes gozo a mi ser, gozo a mi ser.